We're back with Neil, and I think we finished, or we were starting to talk
Right.
about this.
Right. So this is a really cool piece. So what this is in there. This is spiritually charged by the Reiki master, and this has 7 ghosts that are inside. The ghosts are spiritually charged things that are inside of the quartz or the gemstones. For me, when it comes to the quartz, it is one of the most beautiful gemstones because it's clear. And so when we take something like this and turn it, by seeing all the way through is like different windows for me. And so this is one of the pieces that I have in my store. And one of the coolest things about it is this, where it comes from. Because it comes from a client that could have taken this and gone anywhere, but knew how much I appreciated the rocks and the crystals and the gemstones and the beauty of what it was, and I had that spiritual connection to it. And so it was very, very hard, but it was very, very much appreciated. I just think it's one of the most beautiful pieces. When you look inside, it has all the different rainbows in there.
Wow. Oh, yes.
Right? And so it's just like cool. I mean, like, I always say people come in and they say, what will you buy or what, and I go, look, if you have something that everybody else has, I don't want it. But if you have something that's really cool or that is very interesting, I'm interested in looking at it. When it comes to the crystals and the rocks, I have a very strong passion for these type of things. Being a gemologist, I deal with more of the finished goods, the diamonds, the rubies, and stuff like this. This is more in a rough state, but when you touch it, no matter how it is that you feel, if you feel bad, and you just give this, any type of rock, just a strong feeling, you really feel a lot better. And so that's why when anybody comes in and you see that all the rocks and everything that's around, all the big pieces of amethyst, it makes you feel good. And so all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is the person I saw on TV, or this is the person I read about on the internet. And then when you come in, you feel that it's a warm and inviting area, and I believe that that's all because of the rocks. I mean, everybody here that works here and everything is wonderful, and they're fantastic. It's a piece of the puzzle, and that's what makes what it is that I do so unique, because we assemble everything together and make it all work and give the greatest customer experience.
Is that a donkey?
A donkey. And this is the geese. So this is a yadro. So, it's really cool is that, and this is why I brought this out, because I thought you'd like this story. All right.
Love stories.
So this is a yadro. So this is like a porcelain figurine. This is like this is the, right?
Right.
Okay. The lady sold me these because she always used to get chased around the lake by the geese. And she thought that there was a calling with the geese. So I have in my case 25 of these things because she named every one. And they used to follow her around this lake. And so she was like, she didn't know what it was about or anything. And so she said, okay, well, this is really cool. And so she went and got all the Yadro geese. Excuse me. And so, for many, many years they did that. And so, it's the story that's the selling of the piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have the donkey here. I had a horse growing up.
Right, I remember
Right, you
that.
remember?
Yes.
Okay. A Coco. He had a little diamond on the top of his, right in the center of his forehead.
My family had a little Shetland pony we called Champion.
A champion.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. You know what I mean? And so this particular thing, I was, young a young boy, and you don't understand life and death, and you know what I mean, like, and all that stuff. And so I went into the end stall in the barn, and he was sitting there like this, you know what I mean. And I just remember like leaning up against him, and just he couldn't get up anymore. Like
Smell the straw and all that. Yeah, right. Great
I mean,
memories.
that's what it was about. You know what I mean?
Too old? It was too old? It was.
Yeah. So he we got him when I was young, and not that I wasn't young, but I'm saying when I was younger,
Hmm.
and so he was in the I used to ride him, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then he was in the end stall in the barn, and so he was sitting like this. And so like I went up and leaned against him, and all that stuff, and then that was then because he just physically couldn't get up anymore. Like that was it.
Great memories, though, from that.
Great
seeing that.
memories.
Yeah.
And I tell people, and that's part of the reason that I do what I do. When it comes to the giving back and stuff. Like I had a good childhood growing up. I mean, like as I do the business that I do more and more, you realize how fortunate and lucky that you actually were to be able to have that, because most people don't. And so you don't really remember, like what happened after or whatever. But yeah, there's certainly like great memories, and great memories that make me go into the point of why it is that people have a personal connection with me today, because this is who I am. Like I would talk to you, like I would talk to my dad or talk to my mom. I mean, it's just who I am. I don't treat anybody differently. The only person I treat differently is my wife. But the important thing with that is that I want everyone to come happy. I want everyone to leave happy, and I want everyone to think good things. But I believe that those things that we do in our life mold us to the type of person that we want to become. Because I know that no matter who it is, everybody was 16. You know what I mean? Or
Sure.
drove a fast car, or ran across the street because they were, you know what I mean? Like, you did it because you were young. And then I think as you get older and you realize more and more, you can realize like how much things can appreciate.
Well, so much love. A lot of it's just the affection your family had, and the way you were raised, and having a horse. I mean,
Yeah.
what a great way to start.
Right. And my mom got me my new shirt, Norm. Did you see that? Neil Sackmary, the man, the myth, and the legend.
That's great. That's great. Well, one of the things I saw was that you have Pearl Harbor medals over there.
Yes.
You must get a lot of. I saw a Lenin medal. I've seen the different war medals. The ones we've got here, we're not sure yet what these are, but
Right.
it's
So-
just remarkable that people part with.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I've not yet had to do it in my life where I had to get rid of my stuff. But I think that when you get to a certain point, you either want to get rid of your stuff or you don't. Clients, for financial reasons, is most of the time where you get the real sentimental stuff, because if they had something that was much less sentimental, that's what would have been gone. But unfortunately, like I was telling you about this, excuse me, her mom passed away. She needed to get back to, for the funeral.
Sure.
So what do you do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On August 4th of last year, literally 1 year from tomorrow,
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I made the decision, like my wife and I, we talked about it, and it was like, okay, listen, here's the deal. You either can have a small suite and not do it all the way, or you do it all the way. And so for me, I love talking to customers. There are people that don't like that, so they come into work every day, they're like, this, I hate it. I don't ever think that. Like, I'm here 365 days a year from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day. And that's because I'm loyal to my customers. Just today, I had a customer come in, who drove to see me. Before we were talking, I had a customer yesterday literally wake his wife out of bed when he saw me on TV and said, grab your stuff, we're going to see that guy. When people see me and they know that I am the real deal, and then when you come into my store and you see that it's the most beautiful store you've ever seen, people can appreciate that. On top of which, I hear it from all my clients, my wife and I need to take a vacation and you need to take days off, but be here when I'm here. You know what I mean? Just don't be here just take off when somebody else is coming. And so, no, I can't do that. And so I appreciate that. And so we made the decision to take over the Citibank, which is a 4,000 square foot building on the corner of Jones and Flamingo. Tremendous opportunity, yet tremendous risk. I mean, I know how good I am when it comes to buying. I know that I can always give the best price. I'm a graduate gemologist from GIA, and so this is what I went to school for. But what happens is that, it's still a risk. And so September 21st, we officially opened last year, and it's been a tremendous success.
Well, it's just hard to believe that you could accumulate that much stuff in that short a time. I did not realize this was just a 1 year.
Right. So when I was over at the other place, like my whole collection, it took me 6 years to get. Every dollar that I made, I took and put into my cases. And so it was really, really important for me because I wanted, when a client comes in, like I don't sell anything in my store. I don't have everything is, there's no rounds or squares. So everything is natural rock. Clients can appreciate that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's very, very important.
Well, I know that cat lovers are going to want to know what your cats are named.
So it's really cool. We have we have a mother cat named Princess. Okay, and Princess had 4 babies, and we didn't want to split up the babies. So we have the male and the female. They're called Jingles and Bells, for Jingle Bells, right? And then we did Smokey Bear, right? Smokey is one, and then Bear's the other for the bear guy.
Right.
And then our bird is called Birdie. That's BIR-DEE, like Birdie. And he's fantastic. And so they give me such a sense of joy and like why I work. And like people always ask me, like my friend was in town and he's like, go out to dinner, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing, I can't do that because tomorrow morning I have to be up at 6:30 in the morning because I have to be back at the store. Like, people want me to be on cue every time. And so it's very, very important for me. It's very important when clients come in that they always get the best price. That when we look at something, we know exactly what it is that we're doing. And so what happens is that there's a lot of sacrifices that are made on my personal life, but I was always told to work hard and to just keep working hard. And if you want to ever succeed, you work hard. And that's all you do.
I would think Birdie might be the most nervous bird in town.
Yeah.
6 cats, 5 cats?
5 cats.
5
So he
cats.
flies around. Norm, it's the most hysterical thing ever. Because he flies around, you know what I mean? And, they don't mess with him anymore. Because, here's the thing. He can fly down and bite their tail before they can even turn around.
Really?
but like they get along. Like that's the coolest thing about it is that when they're home and like I'm holding the bird and like I'll be like so like I hold him here when he eats, right? And then I have the cats and they come up on my legs and stuff and it's very harmonious.
So I was looking around the room, and the one thing that caught my attention was the telephone booth.
Yeah.
Tell me the story about that. Did somebody just walk in with a telephone booth?
Well, no, it's a very interesting story. So I have a telephone booth in my house. Okay, that my friend he worked for the phone company, and they were giving them away for $100 back in Pennsylvania, and he worked at the phone company, and so he asked to buy it, and they sold it to him, and we went together and picked it up. And my wife and I have it in our house. It's like the greatest thing ever. Client comes in and says to me, I have a phone booth I want to sell. And I go, okay, I would love to own your phone booth. She says, okay, how much would you pay? Which, I'm up front. Like if somebody asks me, then I'll tell them. I'd like to pay $300 for your phone booth. She said, I'll take it. I said, but you have to get it here. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I knew that it was going to cost me $250 to have a moving company.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
course.
like I'm not moving it. I'm not putting that thing on my back. And so
She drive out here with it?
well, no. So 3 months. So she goes, okay, I'll do that, and I'll bring it down there. 3 months later, she comes here. She goes, okay, here's the deal. I've tried everybody that I know to move that phone booth to you. What will you pay me for the phone booth? $50. Because it's going to cost me $260 to have the moving company go and pick that thing up.
Yeah.
It adds a motif to the store
Sure
that
does.
there's no one else in Las Vegas that has this.
It's got New Jersey and New York numbers on it. If I-
Did you see
that's
that
correct.
with the dimes and the nickels and the quarters, right?
Yeah. No bullet holes, so I was surprised it had New Jersey on it.
Right.
And, I
No
thought it might
bullet
have
holes.
might be some great stories.
Right.
If those walls could talk, right?
If those walls could talk more, right?
Right.
Right. And that's what it is. When clients feel so comfortable about talking to me because they want to bring me these cool things because they know that they have these treasures, but they just don't know what to do with them. And so for me, it's just about appreciating them. It's very difficult to talk about. Okay? My mom, she has the most beautiful antiques that anyone has ever seen. Right? The thing is this. This is somebody else's life. And it's not my life. And so when I've been going on the TV now and talking, a lot of clients have really appreciated the fact that when I talk and I say, listen, your family, they're going to fight over your stuff. Like that, and this is the sad reality. And so what do we want to do? We want to protect what it is that we're doing. And so when they come in and they know that we can sit down in a nice environment, we're going to go through their items together. We're going to find the best value. A lot of my clients in the downsizing and decluttering have now turned to the fact that they just don't want their families to deal with this stuff. And so since the last time we talked, a lot of my things that I've been doing on the TV and all that stuff have really been about stuff or junk equals cash. Because what happens is that people have the stuff, but they just don't know what to do with it. And so we try to make it exciting, like we were talking about before. If you're not going to do something and it's not going to be fun and exciting, I don't think that you should be doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you did what you did for 17 years. And I'm sure...
And that's just Las Vegas.
Yeah, just Las Vegas, right? And like, if you... some days were good and some days were bad, but you love it. Like, that's your passion. And so, like, I believe that everybody should be, doing what it is that they passionately love, because I do it. And so I push myself extremely hard, probably harder than anyone else. But I think that's what when you find something that you do, I don't think, like I was reading that thing on, you said that, when you did your letter, your last
Farewell
letter,
column? Yes.
farewell.
Yeah.
How you started that the deadline was at 8:30, and then it went to 5 o'clock, right?
8 o'clock, 5:30, and 4.
And then
Yeah.
4, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I believe that this is where, like, what you and I can do and what can be done for the future of you is so tremendous. Because when you looked at how many people love you, and they wrote on the Facebook and the columns and things like this, it's tremendous. And so that's what, like, you appreciate your faithful viewers, right?
Readers, viewers, yes.
Readers,
yeah,
viewers.
yeah.
I mean, that's why you do what you do, right? I mean, like, and that's what makes it so passionate and so enjoyable, that I do the same for my customers.
Sure.
Sure. And
Yeah,
so
yes, you definitely value the reader, the customer, the client. That's one of the most important things.
right.
I tell stories. You save this amazing stuff. You brought out a medal here it looks like it might be from the post-Civil War era.
Right.
And it's got, I think it's February 2nd, 1886.
Correct.
And
Yep.
it's to a captain or something,
The commander. Right.
commander is what it was.
Right.
And that's just, and that's made out of gold, you said.
Right, so this one is 10 karat gold. The one that's next to it is sterling silver. And so here's the really cool thing. There's one of these. Okay? There's not two or whatever. And so to be able to hold something from 1886,
The year before my father was born.
okay, is tremendous. Generations and generations have passed.
Yeah.
Right? And so here's the really cool thing. I appreciate this stuff, and that's what clients can see through the TV.
Yeah.
You were very fortunate because clients could see you and they could read through your newspapers that you've been doing for as long as you have and be able to connect to you. And so these type of things, it's the same idea. The personal connection that my client knows that I'm going to sell this to you and I'm going to appreciate it and I'm not going to sell it and I'm just going to own it and it's going to be really, really exciting, is why I'm in business. I want people to know that when they come in, I want to help them. I want to give them the best price. Now, the difference is, and a lot of people always ask, well, if you don't sell anything, how do you make any money? Well, here's the thing. The business, I work very, very hard. And so the business, about 95% of everything I buy does get melted down. About 5% I do sell wholesale or because it's better or resellable pieces or something like that, right? And so the business affords the money to be able to afford to be able to buy more, but it also affords that when I find something like this, that I'm able to purchase it and be able to own it forever.
Sure.
Because it's really, really special. And so that's why I have all the stuff that I have in the store, is because each individual piece has been, sold to me in a very special manner.
Speaking of melting down, these don't look like items that are going to get melted down.
Right, so this is really cool. Like this is the belt buckle. Right?
That is a belt buckle.
Right. So see this?
Not a bull riding belt
Yeah,
buckle.
that goes like this. Right? And
Amazing.
so this is handmade from the Navajo, and this is one piece of turquoise.
That is monstrous. That's
Right.
amazing.
If you remember the last time we talked about that big piece of turquoise that I had, you know, the 111,000 carat piece, the 49.5 pound. And so this gives you a feeling. Like, you can have the worst day, but when you touch stone, it makes you feel good. It's like metal is cold, wood is warm, and stone just gives you that great feeling as long as it's a natural stone. And so if you believe, which, you know, the very interesting thing is that a lot of clients do. Like, I always say that to clients, oh, you know, if you believe in that stuff, and they go, oh, no, I do believe. And some clients are like, nah, maybe I do, maybe I don't. But at the end of the day, they understand what it is that you're saying. And so when we touch stone, when we feel like, you know, these are fetish bears. And so these are all different gemstones, right? Like, this is mother of pearl, turquoise, onyx. But if you can imagine that each one of those pieces is handmade.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
And so what happens is that, you know, it's really appreciative for what it is and the beauty of what it is. And so, you know, I think that the beauty of pieces like this is just really, really cool. And so clients come in and they're able to sell me, you know, things like this that are really, really beautiful.
You don't melt that down.
No, so that's not. So that's part of the, you know, the about 5% or so that, you know, is just kept and, you know, sold wholesale or, you know, something like that.
Sure.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be here. And so the business needs to afford to be able to buy more.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of cool things that I've gotten. I had an 18 karat gold purse, you know, like literally like a clutch.
Wow.
You know, an 18 karat gold Tiffany cigarette case. You know, like, I've had to, you know, get rid of some of the cool things. Some things get melted and some things get sold wholesale. But the thing is that, you know, you have to be able to buy more. And so the business is increasing at such an exponential rate that I'm so thankful, but it's because of all the loyal customers. You know, mostly in my business, you're not able to tell your friends that you sold your items because your friend looks at you and they go, you know, oh, you needed $20 for the gas bill, that's why you sold your ring. You're like, no, I sold it because I don't want it anymore, or I'm done with that, or, you know, this was a bad time, or, you know, whatever the reasoning is.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my business, clients are not are willing to tell their friends, tell their family. You know, they'll go, look, you know, this is a real honest guy. You know, we went in there, we price checked. You know, a lot of people have the gimmick of, you know, go to everybody else and then come see me last, and you know what I mean? I don't care where they see me. They can see me first, last, in the middle, you know, the 9th person out of 10. I know that I'm the busiest. And I know that I buy more than anyone. And so, for me, it's about being able to do things like, as an example, we've never done it before, but I'm really excited about the Smith Center thing. Okay? Like, I think that's tremendous because, A, I feel a special connection with you since we met. Secondarily, I want to do things that are for the community.
Well, that's definitely a wonderful thing you're doing, being a sponsor for us. We look forward to a long relationship.
Yeah.
There's some wonderful good being done.
Right.
And I think when you see the next show, you'll be really pleased.
Well, and I think it's so exciting. You know what I mean? Because it's like, look, you know, a lot of wonderful organizations out there, you know, need help. And so they look at businesses. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses are not willing to help as much unless they're very large. And so I don't believe in that. You know, I mean, like, I want to be able to have everybody work in the store, be able to have a living where they can afford, their home or, whatever it is. My wife and I, it's just us. And so, but I want to be able to do these things and do these things in a great way because it's really important, and so it's very exciting. We just did, I just did the thing with the rabbi for the Chabad in East Las Vegas, which is, this is the 3 weeks of mourning because the temple, in Jerusalem got taken down, and so that you're supposed to spread love and kindness, for the next 3 weeks. So we're doing a promotion with him, and so I believe in doing these type of things with organizations, as long as the organizations believe in the same philosophy, and that's to help the community of Las Vegas. I think it's very important.
Sure. Tell me about marlin. I'm guessing is
Right.
that a glass marlin? Or
Yeah, so this is really cool. So this is hand sculptured piece of glass. Okay? And so if you can imagine, now I've never done glass blowing. Have you ever done glass blowing?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think
admired Chihuly and others, but that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough patience for it. Like to sit there, because I would do this once or twice and the fin would break.
Imperfections.
Right, and that would be the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
You wonder how many times it took.
Right. I mean, like, how many times did he get to this point, and then all of a sudden, this thing broke off?
Yeah.
I don't know. And so, it's really, really special.
And
so, it is a marlin. And so, what it is that a client comes in and looked at what I had, because I, collect some glassware. I'm not a big fan of glass, because I sort of think glass is in the middle of the metal, which is cold, and the wood, which is warm. But certain pieces really strike me. One of my favorite gemstones is the smoky quartz, which is along the same lines as this, like the same color. And so the client came in and asked me if I wanted to buy it. Wanted quite a considerable amount of money, but the thing is that it really just spoke to me. I mean, like, it's one of those things where clients just do that, and just it gets exciting, and so this is one of the pieces that I kept. I think it's a really, really beautiful thing that provides a lot of energy, a lot of good positive flow in it, and it's just a pretty piece, like in the case. And so it's very admired by me when I come around. It's right outside the main door, and so it's really, really a pretty piece.
Sure. The turquoise necklace.
Right, so the turquoise necklace. So this is cool. This is handmade by the Navajo. Okay? So this is the way they sign it.
Oh, wow.
So that's Larry Frank. And so he's a very famous Navajo designer. Now, remember when we talked about this?
Yes.
We talked about the fact of being handmade.
I'm going to let you put that back.
Yeah, sure.
That's too.
I love things that are handmade, because that means that somebody took the time and they touched it. Much better than something that somebody just cast it out and made a lot of. To me, it's a matter of having things that are really appreciative for what it is that are there, and then having things that people appreciate to be able to touch and feel. And so by feeling them, that's why I like pieces like this. And I feel a very big spiritual calling or something
Warmth
something
or,
like
yeah.
When it comes to the turquoise jewelry. Like, I love rocks, and I love that end of it. But there, as soon as I started really appreciating the sterling silver turquoise jewelry, um, there's just something about it. And so I have a lot of the Navajo things, like my totem poles that are hand carved to me, and
Oh, yes.
all that stuff. And so I think that stuff is like really, really spiritually inviting. If you believe in the positive, right? Like, I think you could spin that towards the negative, and because a lot of like the Kachina dolls and stuff like this, they say is to ward off sometimes like uh, evil
Negative,
spirits and
yeah.
negative spirits, right?
Sure.
But I spin it always to the positive. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's really important. I don't think of anything that has to do with a negative aspect. I always think of everything of how do we make it more positive? How do we make it more fun? How do we make it more exciting? How do we do what we're doing and make it even that much better?
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
We will
Thanks, Norm.
we will see you another day.
Yeah, and I'll
And,
show you the phone booth.
And no bullet holes, I hope.
I know, no bullet holes. It's going to be very exciting, Norm.
What would that cost? Somebody walks in and says, "I want that phone booth." What if a TV movie
Won't
company
sell it.
won't sell it?
Won't sell.
Okay.
I think part of the mystique is the fact of having something that no one else can own.
Yeah.
And so for me, knowing that I own it is more important than anything. And knowing that no one else is ever going to get it makes it even that much better.
It's awesome. Well, we'll see you back soon.
Soon, Norm. And soon for the conversations with Norm, too.
Yes, we'll be letting you know.
Yeah, very exciting. All right.
Fantastic.